All right. In theory, we're finally here. So, okay, note to selves. By the way, thank you very much, everybody who's been so incredibly patient. Thank you, Wago. Thank you, Dan Homesteader. Thank you, Dylan Theus. Most of all, thank you very much to Emily, who figured out this is, for the record, this is the best kind of chat room tech support, is where they throw $2 donations to get my attention. That's the best one.
Yes.
Hopefully we're back. Yeah, so for future reference, when that happens, this is the hiccup. Here, I'll show you guys. Boom. So when this guy...
Oh, I love it. Look at the live.
When this guy reboots, it changes profiles, it doesn't always love to cooperate and let this guy know. There we go. So what'll happen is this guy, you'll go to reset it, and then it'll say, whoops.
Enhance.
Yeah.
Enhance.
It'll go to reset it, and it'll say, there you go, right there where you go reset. Instead, it'll say, I don't see that device. Boy, it looks like we're riding the very edge of propriety here for the stream. I don't know if the stream is crapping out or not. Hey, everybody. We're doing something instead of regular office hours. We're doing morning coffee with Josh Nass. We flew Josh Nass in just to have coffee and nothing else.
Nothing else. That's it.
How was the flight in, man?
It was great. I mean, it's a 3-hour flight from LAX to Austin, so, you know, easy peasy.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. Tank Radio was there for our fishing expedition yesterday. That was a lot of fun. Thank you to everybody who came in for that.
Oh, I do have an interesting story before I got on the plane.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell me about it.
So, you Delta Lounge guy? Do you go to the Delta Lounge at all occasionally?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm at the Delta Lounge, and I am leaving the men's room. I'm going around the corner, and Frodo Baggins walks in front of me.
Oh, you mean the actual actor?
The actual actor.
Whoa.
And he heads over to the urinal, and I'm triple taking like this.
Yeah.
What is happening?
Elijah Wood. There you go.
Elijah Wood.
It took me a second.
Yeah. And then I'm continuing to walk around the corner, and Merry and Pippin are right behind him.
I don't know that name. Oh, wait. The other
hobbits. The only one that wasn't there was Sam.
Why? Were they doing a gig?
I'm not going to stop to ask him in the entrance of the men's room what they're off to. But yeah, I figured they were going off somewhere together. Maybe a convention or something, or who knows? Probably something fun. But I was starstruck. I have bumped into stars before in LA County, but I've never bumped into anyone like that.
I thought it was sort of like part of the LA groove is that you're supposed to be too cool to be impressed with people.
There are some that I am, when I bump into them, I'm absolutely impressed. And those would be one of them. I loved it. It was awesome.
Amazing. Hang on. There we go. Yeah. So here. So I promised you a tour of this stuff. Okay. So we'll do.
And this is vMix, you said.
Yeah. So vMix is a beefier kind of older brother to OBS, where like OBS being free is hard. You don't have the moral high ground to get mad at it, whereas vMix being paid, you purchase some moral high ground, right? But almost always, it definitely was Josh surprised they weren't 3 feet tall. The hobbits,
they're my height.
But at any rate, so basically, this computer over here is all media. Okay. And this computer is live switching, and then over there on the wall is that's program out.
Okay.
And then
that's
behind,
the one I'm looking at.
Yeah, and then behind you over the shoulder, there we go. You could we frame this shot so that I can kind of virtually be there for the two of us.
Oh yeah, look at that.
There we go. Yeah. So that's often not times how we'll do it when Justin and I are doing Great Night. And so tell me a bit about some of the stuff Well, actually, I don't know. Where do you want to talk about? Where do you want to start?
I don't know how much do we want to dip into our day, our weekend here that we have planned.
I mean, I guess I'll tell you what I understand.
Yes,
that we're doing.
We can talk
sure.
about yesterday's stream. Your yesterday's stream.
Remind me.
Your office hours yesterday with. The,
yeah. Let's start by disambiguating that one.
Well, so the first thing I would say is we need to get you on something called Kiwi SDR. So you were using Web SDR, and Kiwi SDR is probably the more feature-rich of the remote web SDR software that's out there.
Yeah. Okay. So let me first dig up the old and busted that I was using, which is this looks like
good.
Just
good kind of compare and contrast here. Yeah. So you were on. Yeah. So the way to see that board up there, actually scroll back up.
Yeah.
That picture right there. So that's literally the software-defined radio, right? So they're showing a picture of the device. That's the radio, and it's passing data over that network cable that's on the right-hand side, and the antenna's on the left-hand side. And then the web server, if you will, is what you see below.
Now, so I got a question for this. There are 800 people using this at once. When you make a change, what I'm picturing is some virtual version of moving the dial up and down. Is anything actually moving anywhere, or
no? And it only supports a couple of users at a time, because there's only so much tuning capability, if you will. Kind of what you're exactly pointing at is you're really, so you're looking at the spectrum, right? You've got this big zoomed out view of the spectrum, and that's called the waterfall, the thing that's filling up slowly.
Yeah,
that's a progression of radio signals over time. And it's presented vertically.
But I guess my question is, how is this radio receiving the entirety of the spectrum all at once?
So it's very wide banded. The receiver's wide banded, and until you tell it to go focus on a certain bandwidth of radio information, then it's just going to kind of give you the visual display versus actually processing the audio.
So I guess this is the part that I'm confused by. If there are 840 users using this same radio at the same time.
No, it's used. So that's saying 849 people using the WebSDR service.
Oh.
So if you go back to the map. Did you ever see the map? Go back to WebSDR, not that one. So you are on one WebSDR, the University of 20. Yeah. So if you go back to just WebSDR's main page, just think of this as like one server for one software-defined radio. Now, you saw this list, I think, was what you primarily were playing with.
Hold on one second.
Scroll to the bottom.
Hey, what's up? I'm good. I'm Brian. Who's this? Oh, wonderful. Oh, here. Give me just one moment. I'm on a live stream. Let me eject myself. Here, I'm gonna hand everything over to Josh. Here, Josh. Come sit in this hot seat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which feed are you on? How do I go back to your
program right here, and then you could just kind of click on things.
Oh, just
space bar to change.
Oh, great. Okay.
And then you'll figure it out. Awesome.
I've never used vMix, so we're gonna see how this goes. Am I centered? All right, good. All right, so let me go back here. Yeah. So Brian, okay, got it. So this is the. Oh, I want to drop that chat pop up though, don't I? How do I make the chat pop-up go away? Kids, I don't know. Chat, are we cooked? Josh in the chat has literally sat down in Brian's setup, and I don't know how to remove the chat display. Okay, so coffee and comms. Yes, indeed. I'm having a great coffee here. But let me go back, and sorry, you can't see the URLs per se, but we're on websdr.org. And the thing that I was going to show Brian, and I think this kind of helps a little bit, is if you scroll all the way down, like all the way down, and this is something I think they should move to the top of the site personally. This is the map of where all the SDRs are located. And so you can get a pretty good idea of where these listening stations are. and you can really dive in here. So when, for instance, when everything started popping off in Ukraine, we were pulling up SDRs out here, and that was letting us pull up really fun things like the Russian buzzer. And there were different stations in different countries, whether pro or con or whatever, of what was going on out there, that were actively kind of screwing with and jamming the signals for the buzzer, which was kind of wild. But let's pull out here. I don't want to do the reveal of Kiwi SDR without Brian be here. So let me dive in down here. This is a very, very good SDR for everybody that's interested. The KFS Web SDR number 2 and KFS SWR, there should be 2 of them, but note that it's talking about what it operates on, the frequency set. So this will take you from 1.8 megahertz all the way up to 30 megahertz. So HF, high frequency. This is the stuff that refracts off the atmosphere, right? So it's picking up signals that are coming in and bouncing in from all over the place, which is great. And you can get a lot out of it. So let's dive in on that one. This one's sometimes a little busy though, so let's see if we can get in there. And we can. Very good. Let's maybe. I don't know his audio setup very well, and I don't want to mess something up. Oh, it's kind of quiet, isn't it? What frequency are you on? Oh, that's why. We're on go to 20 meters. There we go. That's a little bit better. If I click this, will it do the thing? It does the thing. Excellent. Okay, we figured it out. What happens if too many people try to tune into a single SDR receiver at the same time? Yeah, so they generally have limits. And in fact, I think we can get a better representation of that. Let me go back here. So see how it says 0 users? What'll happen is more users... Whoop. Nope. Do as I say. Here we go. See how it says 0 users right here? That's telling you how many people are on it. Obviously, there's no one. It's just us right now. But you'll find that this KFS gets pretty popular. So, oh, we got some boofwangs. I upgraded from a boofwang to a radtel and got a signal stick with a BNC. You are right. BNC is the way to go. Yeah, buddy. Yes, it is. You're on the right track there. So let's go back into this guy. And so it's daytime here in now California, where this is at. It started out in 24 megahertz. You can see that right here. That's the actual the frequency that this tuner is listening to right now, where it's modulating or demodulating the signals that it's getting. So 20 meters is probably going to be a little bit more popular. You can see that blue waterfall is kind of empty. There's not a lot going on. So let's hit 20 and see. And yeah, so we're starting to get a little bit more here. Let's see. Josh, is there an SDR that can focus on multiple frequencies at once, say 10 channels within 5 megahertz? So your problem, Emily, is... Well, wait, let me go back. Is this you want to run the SDR yourself? Like you're going to install it and set it up in your station? If that's the case, yeah, there's tons. I would look up SDR Play and SDR Spy. If you wanted a web SDR, go check out Kiwi SDR. Kiwi SDR, all one word, online. That would be the one to check out, from my point of view. Anyway, let's go back over here real quick. So you can see a lot of signals there. Unfortunately, does he run cans or something like that? I don't know. I don't know what his audio setup is, and I'm not seeing anything on the board. But normally, if you're on web SDR and you click on this Chrome audio start, you should get it, and I'm not seeing a feed. Oh, I can hear it a bit. Can you guys hear the audio of the radio? I am unsure. Let me know. Are you hearing the SDR by chance? Yeah, I'm not sure where Brian is. He left me to fend for myself. He said, I'm going to give you a tour. He gave me the 5-minute tour, and then he took off. So I'll be back in a second. Oh, is this it? Okay, purple. No, that's the backtrack. That's not the one. But this is... Okay. I think we can do this. Got it. Okay, I figured it out. All right, let's see if we can dive in a little bit on one of these. What's kind of fun, see the little orange flags? Am I... No, too loud. Let's lower him a little bit. Okay. So we got a couple of hams talking. And they're on upper sideband is the mode of operation, which is right here. And I'm going to... What's a better signal? 14.300? Yeah, 14.300 is fine. There's always people talking on 14.300. This one might be a little bit better. I'm going to clean up the frequency you're on. See how it's like 14.274.870? I know they're really on 14.275, so I'm just going to clean it up a little bit. And yeah. Yeah, a lot cleaner now. You can hear them. Oh, he's doing a Parks on the Air activation.
Thank you, my friend, and keep that radio moving right along for sure. This is Whiskey 8 Donald Foxtrot from Parks on the Air.
Whiskey 8. Did you say Donald Foxtrot? Oh, we got to put... So we stumbled on a radio activity, an amateur radio activity, which is one that's near and dear to my heart. So let me lower this a little bit. Parks on the Air is a game, call it Pokemon with radios, where we will go to a park. Usually it has to be a state park or a national park. We'll set up a radio station, and you have to make 10, count them, 1, 2, for 10 contacts. And then you activate the park, and you basically get points. And it shows up on this website. In fact, I think, now that I know where this is all going, I'm going to put this down. I'm looking for a coaster. He literally has his coffee. Hold up. Brian has one of those Ember mugs. I've never tried one of those before. But let me actually see if we can put some context on this. Let's see if we can figure out what park he's at.
Roger, Kilo Juliet 5 Whiskey, you're a 5-9, US 0633.
US 0633. 0633. So if we go to Parks on the Air map. So here's the Parks on the Air map, and he's probably listed on this page somewhere. But if we say, what was it, US 0633? Am I wrong? Is that where he's at?
Hey, Roger, Whiskey 2, Whiskey Delta Charlie, and thank you very much. Operator, here is Dan. We're at Park US 3310 Fort Custer, Michigan.
3310. No, I have not. Oh no, this is it's a park to park, meaning they're also in a park. So these are two hams that are in separate parks, states away from each other, talking to each other over the radio right now. And I'm just trying to narrow down which one it is. You can oftentimes find it by going back to the activator spot. Let's see if we can find them. So see all these identifiers? Oh, no, you can't because I'm not on the... Somebody else's live stream. I got to remember that. All these US dash numbers, those are all park identifiers. So we go set up at these parks and we make 10 contacts and we get points. Literally, it's kind of like Pokemon, but you got to physically go there. Another park to park. So we are, if we wanted to, we could probably tune up all these frequencies, and you can see them listed. We could tune them up with this SDR, and we could potentially hear them. Tank Radio, what frequency are you on? We'll see if we can tune you in. You want to see if you can... We might be able to hit you on 40? Oh, that was you? You just contacted? Did you just contact the POTA station? Oh, sorry about that, man. I totally missed it. Let's try that. I'll show you how you can kind of actually use this. So going back to the Parks on the Air page, you got New York, got Arizona. This guy's on CW Morse code. Massachusetts is on FT8. Brian talked about FT8 yesterday and didn't quite understand how it worked, so we're going to talk about that later. International, Great Britain, Georgia, that might be a good one. Let's go to 14268. So let's go back to 14268. So we're going to go 68 and see if we can hear them. We can. They're just way in the noise. Let's see if you can pull it out in chat. So something that happens, it's kind of interesting. I'm going to raise the volume as we'll talk through this. Can you hear that? So that's somebody that's transmitting, and they're slightly off the tuning frequency of the radio we're listening to. So you can hear the humans. .55 kilo something. So there's a human that's on the frequency we're listening to. They're tuned to that frequency. But then you got another strong signal that's adjacent, and it's causing that like odd, distorted audio, right? There was a question: is there a prize, or is it for street cred? Great question. So I'll show you. Let's pull up my page on Parks on the Air. So if we go to, I'll just go back to the main page, or not. Can I just search myself? I probably can. KI6NAZ. Is that me? Yeah, that's me. Look at my awards. Now, I'm not the most prolific Parks on the Air activator, but I have the bronze activator, the silver activator, the silver hunter, the gold hunter, the platinum hunter. I'm oftentimes chasing people. But yeah, you can see these are some of my activations I've done. And I like tank radio. Oftentimes we'll go activate a park and then maybe not update my logs. I probably got 5 activations I need to upload. This was a failed activation, actually, this one. I'm not sure what happened there. But you can see the last ones that I activated were actually all in Hawaii. That was on my trip. And so here is a state park that I went to, and I am one of the few people who've activated. Oh, no, go back. Not a lot of people have activated this park, if I remember correctly. Oh no, there's actually a decent amount that have done that one. Total QSOs. Yeah. One of the more rare ones that I have. Okay, got it. How do I pull up the entire? Oh, bummer. I have one at a fairly rare location in New York City, the African Burial Memorial. It's by the if you're down at Battery Park and you walk north up to the stock exchange up through Manhattan and then veer east, it'll take you to the African Burial Monument. And it's a really hard park to activate because it's literally just covered with buildings and everything. Very difficult. But yeah. No audio from radio? Wait, you can't hear the audio from radio? You're copying that, right?
Roger, 0633, US 0633.
0633. Okay, so we did at least get that right.
Roger.
Okay, cool. So yeah, that's just an example of something you can do with radio. So we were poking around. We stumbled upon this guy talking on this frequency and said, well, what the heck is that guy doing? Well, it turns out that he's doing Parks on the Air. Right, so let's back this up a little bit. In fact, do I want to switch yet? I don't want to switch without Brian being here. I think it's going to be really interesting for him, specifically what we can do with it. But yeah, I think that's 14.13. I don't want to go there. 14.313 is also one of those weird frequencies. Let's dip into the low side here a little bit. Or no, let's let's play something that you guys should all know about. Let's go to 10 megahertz or 10,000 kilohertz. Who knows what this is? And I'm going to switch to AM. There you go. That's a much better signal. So when I was a kid,
16 hours, 8 minutes, coordinated universal time.
Get ready for it. There you go.
What follows is a scientific modulation.
They got some bleed over from another station. Yeah, so that's the time code. When I was a kid, I wasn't an amateur radio operator when I was a young man. But what I was a shortwave enthusiast. So I would... Are we focused? I'm very white, aren't I, today? Very white. Close enough. There we go. It's starting to dim a little bit. I was a shortwave listener as a kid, so I would have like a Radio Shack shortwave radio, and people are like, "What is shortwave? What's all this stuff?" So AM frequencies that you would call AM is specifically very low frequencies. It's going to be really weird. I was explaining this to Brian this morning. AM is considered medium wave frequencies, not long wave, medium wave, and not short wave. Those are different things. So your AM broadcast stations will be like, I don't know, name a favorite frequency in the chat. At home, we have 640 kilohertz. That's the frequency of the AM station. Well, shortwave is actually higher frequency than medium wave. Right now, we're on 10 megahertz, 10,000 kilohertz, right? It's just a conversion. Right. So shortwave frequencies actually transmit further than some of the terrestrial AM frequencies. So they're more regional. There are times when terrestrial AM broadcast stations can transmit very far. But this frequency in particular is the time code. It's WWV is what it's called, and it's out of Colorado. I used to know the exact city that it was in, but you can look it up, right? And it's a stable time reference. So back in the day when we had landlines and you could call the time number, same thing, but over radio. And it transmits on multiple frequencies 24/7, and you would change frequencies depending on the day-night cycle. So 2.5 megahertz is 1. Fort Collins, you got it. You got it. I was put on the spot being live on somebody else's live stream. So yeah, Fort Collins, Colorado. 2.5 megahertz, 5 megahertz, 10 megahertz, which is what we're on. I think it also is on 15. It might be higher than that too. Might go all the way up to 30, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, the great thing about that as a shortwave listener, to tie it all back in, is I would have, my shortwave radio that, Radio Shack or wherever I got one. And I would use the time code to determine if I had a decent connection to an antenna, if the radio is functioning correctly, because these are usually pretty solid stateside to be able to pick up the audio.
Coordinated universal time.
Sometimes it'll say more than that too, depending on which frequency you're on. Yeah. Okay. What else do we got out there? I'm not going to pull up actual shortwave stations because I don't want to get his video demonetized. But there's a number of shortwave, like world radio stations as well, which arguably that's one of the best things about shortwave. I remember, again, as a kid, as I'd set up a shortwave radio in the backyard and I'd wind out 60 feet of wire and get it up as high as I can. And I was able to pull in international radio stations, shortwave radio stations. It was great. We were able to listen to languages that I couldn't determine what they were at the age I was and what music they were listening to at the time. Great fun. It's not as big a thing as it was, sadly. Shortwave is it's not nearly as popular. Unfortunately, a lot of the stations are kind of going off air, which is a bummer, but great question. Why do frequencies change during the day and the night? Well, you'll have to go look this up as far as the layers. It'll give you more details. But our atmosphere is layered, right? So there are different layers, and the sun, the intensity, the radiation of the sun will cause those layers, different layers, to energize and be of thickness is the wrong word, but let's call it thickness for right now. And the radio frequencies that best refract, it's kind of like bouncing, refraction off of those layers, are only usable when that layer is energized. So during the day, early morning to afternoon, 28 megahertz or 27, 29 megahertz CB radio. So for everybody that's into CB, usually pretty good early morning, noon-ish time. Density, even better, Emily, even better. I like density. It's also thick. The the layer of the atmosphere is thick, right, at that particular time. So in the morning, that's when you get like 28 megahertz is effective, 10 meters. 14, so let's see. Tank is replying, but he's saying 14.257 megahertz. Well, the good news is that's 20 meters, right, as we would call it. And that's usually a good morning, daytime, and dusk-ish frequency. But as the sun starts to go down, those layers that were energized earlier in the day, they dissipate with the lack of the energy of the sun. And then the very highest layers are left, and those you generally need to use lower frequencies. So that's when we start to slide down to 7 megahertz, 3.8 megahertz for talking on radios. Well, so you got to think too at the distance we're talking about at these elevations of the layers, it's very cold. We're talking about above where planes fly. You can imagine no human beings really hanging out on a plane wing for a commercial because it's so cold. So we're already talking about the temperature differences are very quiet. Yeah, are very quiet, very cold. So it's not really temperature-based. However, when the sun explodes and vomits, so we have coronal mass ejections and different solar weather, right? There's actually solar weather forecasts you can look up, and it'll tell you how the sun's behaving. Now, if we're unlucky enough that we get like a direct strike of this intensified radiation, solar storms, coronal mass ejections, slightly different things, all this different stuff, it will actually disrupt the atmosphere enough that radio frequency communication that's facilitated via the atmosphere is impossible until the intensity of the upsettiness of, if you will, of the layers calms down. So when I was in Hawaii, actually June of last year, there was a massive X flare, and the first 3 days of my trip to Hawaii, the atmosphere was unusable. It was very mad, and radio was not possible. And if you think you're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, you need all the help you can get to get your signal off of the island into the mainland, any mainland. And I couldn't hit anything. Could not. I had to wait like 3 days before it even calmed down enough to do anything. And generally, it wasn't voice. I could not transmit with voice. I had to use digital modes and Morse code to be able to communicate. That's how desperate we were. That's right. Yeah. I'm hitting this fast because I'm still just soft shoeing it. I'm just doing a live bit. I didn't expect to take over. 20 was pretty good. In fact, we didn't set it up, but I got my 705 out here set up, and I'm remoted into it via the Wi-Fi, and we were going to play around with it after the show, but yeah. But 20 is good right now. Temperature dip, yeah, okay. I think I got, okay, we're caught up. What else can we look at that's fun? Yeah, let's do that. Let's see if we can actually find something a bit more. It's not controversial, but let's go back. We gotta go back, Jack. So let's pull this up. Back over here. And we're gonna go back down. He needs one of those freewheel mice things where if you spin it, it just goes nuts. You can freewheel it. All right. So we're looking at the map, and I kind of want to. Where's a good one? Where's a good one? I kind of like. Regional branch, Union Radio Amateurs, Russia. Okay, let's see if we can go here. Gonna let us go? Oh, it's not gonna let us go. Let's see if we can get into any of them. It's not gonna let us go, is it? Okay. Oh, wait. Okay, we got in. We got in. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, it's okay. 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 All right. Is it gonna let me type in? Okay, it will. It will. All right. Hold on. Hold on. We're doing. There it is. Somebody knows where I'm going. Che knows where I'm going. Are we? Yeah. So by the way, all those signals to the left here, that's all Morse code. All right, so let's go to 4625 kilohertz and see what we get. See if it'll let us go there. It's not gonna let us go. It's gonna keep us on the ham bands. Okay, we gotta get out of Russia, guys. It's Finland is usually pretty good for this. So I usually hop up to Finland. Let's see how it goes. Oh. Look at the layout on this bad boy. Somebody went full MySpace on this thing. So let's go 4625. Maybe you're going to let me go? Oh, it's not going to let me do it. No. I may have to dip into that other app that I was going to run. How hard is it learning Morse code? It's about consistency, because honestly, you're literally learning you're learning a foreign language to you, right? Foreign in the sense that, yeah. So it can be difficult. You really have to take the time to practice to get the most out of it. And if you are thinking about doing it, you really want to get serious with it. There is a radio club called the Long Island CW Club that I highly recommend. It's very inexpensive to even get a lifetime membership, but you can pay, I don't know, I think it's less than $30 a year, and you can go to their classes. They have over 70 classes a week that you can learn Morse code. All right, we're going to have to find another station that's going to be a little bit more. Let's see if this one will do it. He's back. He's back.
Did you figure it out?
Oh, yeah. We're rocking.
Holy crap, that looks way cooler.
I know. Did we get it? No, not yet.
Oh.
I need the audio. Oh.
There it is.
Are we on? It's not letting me go there either. So we're finding that some of the frequencies we're not allowed to go to them.
They're off limits. They're
yes.
too hot for TV.
Yeah. Like we're in the Brian's back here. He's in the Josh seat now.
Yeah. No, this was my plan the whole time. Is I wanted you to take charge of everything.
Well, so okay, let me show you this, Brian. So
by the way, I do love that I correctly called it. I'm like, you'll figure it out. Bye.
Yeah, you did. You called it. So okay, this is WebSDR, which you're familiar with, right?
Yes.
So what I was gonna say is, what you really want is Kiwi SDR. So check this out. Get ready for this guy. So don't bing me. Okay, so well, first of all, that's the SDR. That's what the SDR actually looks like. But if you scroll down here and you go to map, and we're going to see another, I showed everybody how the map works too. That was something I was going to show you before you walked out. But okay, so here are all the listening stations that you can get that's on Kiwi SDR. Tons, right?
Yep.
So let's find one in Finland, because again, Finland has been the best for me, but we'll see. So let's see if we can pull it up. No, now seriously, your name, call sign, no identity will kicked out. Okay, all right, hold on. Let me type in my. Is it going to let me type in my call sign? Yeah. So it is KI6NAZ. And we are going to go, let's see if we can, now notice the layout's completely different than you're used to, right?
Yeah.
You get a way bigger waterfall. So let's go to 4625. And, oh, it's blacked out.
Okay, what is so secret about 4625?
Oh.
This is mysterious.
So it's a number station, basically.
Ah, that's great.
Yeah. So the number station, is this the right thing to do? Is just slide her like this for the computer audio?
Okay. Setting up that monitor over there so I can hear it.
Go instead. So they're saying go instead to Radio Caroline. Okay, let's on 648. All right, let's try Radio Caroline.
Of it this morning, Glenn saying thank you for being brave enough to play that.
Oh, okay. That's just a shortwave station. Oh no, that's an AM station that's picking up. Anyway, so what we're well, I don't know.
Crazy that it was blacked out.
So what had happened? What had happened was when the whole Ukraine aggressions were kicked off by Russia. The buzzer, as it's called, the Russian buzzer, was this number station, and it's really not a number station. It was just this constant audio tone that would play. And over the course of decades and decades, the tone has changed. The station has actually moved before. There have been recordings made where human beings are heard in the background, and people like document what they're saying and try to break down what was going on there. But when the aggressions over Ukraine kicked off, other foreign stations started hopping on that same frequency, and they started to jam it. So they started like saying, complaining, screaming about stuff, and it turned into like a radio turf war where the pro-Russian side and the anti-Russian side would go in there and they'd scream back and forth at each other. And it got so crazy that let me go back here for a second with the audio off, so you can see this. It's probably hard for me to demonstrate without actually just doing it, but you see how you're looking at the waterfall again, right? Well, that's just that's a visual representation of the audio information, right?
Right.
Well, if you have there's computer applications that will allow you to actually put pictures on there.
Oh, sure.
And font, because all it is just the audio representation of a picture, of a font, of all that stuff. And so that's what people were doing, is they were like literally tagging the waterfall with radio graffiti.
That's great.
And it was really cool. Well, cool, depending on how you look at cool.
Yeah.
From a radio standpoint, I thought it was
as
fantastic.
cool as a turf war over radio signals during a war can be.
And literally, you'd get all kinds of stuff. And it got pretty spicy, so I'm not too upset that we can't hear it. But yes, there's all kinds of stuff out there. Yeah. So
that's crazy. So I guess the rationale for blacking out on your SDR is what? Like basically
I'm guessing that it probably got. Well, it's like don't feed the trolls, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just don't make it easy. Like, hey, whatever this is, take it somewhere else, kiddos.
That's right.
Wait, we pay for this bandwidth, and we don't need all this noise.
And I guess you could say if the radio station is in Finland, they're really not affiliated with either side. Although I guess they'd arguably probably line up more with Ukraine. I don't know, so that's just me talking. Then they're probably more like, look, we don't want to have anything to do with this, because what I think ended up happening was Russia just started pushing out propaganda on that frequency. Like you'd be able to listen. They were just they turned it into a propaganda like channel, station, etc. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So the Kiwi SDR is what is different about that from Web SDR?
Ooh,
just the interface.
Great question. Let me go back to it so you can see now. What's really wild about this? So let me get this out of the way, and let me go back up to, and let's get ham radio. Right here. And they got extensions. So these are all different decoders, if you will. So, oh, this won't do SSTV. I wonder. Okay, we're going to have to change. This station obviously is fairly ratcheted down, probably due to some of the stuff that's going on with politics. But since we're here and I do see signals, let's hit the FT8 decoder. So here's FT8, the thing you talked about on the live stream yesterday. So it automatically switches us over to 14.175, which is not correct. So I will go in there and adjust it to 14.07. Wait, come on. No. Okay. Wait, come on now. 14074. Go. And there we go. So that is the visual representation of FT8. And if we are doing this correctly, let's see, we should start to decode. Yeah. So you see the text?
Oh, wild.
So it just, see all those vertical lines? Those are people transmitting, and the SDR, the server that's running the SDR, is decoding that audio signal back into its digital or its text format.
Yeah.
So that is FT8.
That's great. Oh, and so who invented FT8?
Joe Taylor, who is a Nobel Prize Award winner in mathematics, I believe. He is out of Princeton University, I believe is accurate. So he's a very, very talented amateur radio operator.
That's amazing. And so, and basically this is just a protocol where, and forgive me if you already talked about this on the stream, but for the dummies like me, basically, in order to normally, if you want to establish another contact with another ham radio operator, then you would have to use your voice and say, "Hello, I'm blank. Who are you? I'm blank." And hey, you're out of where? And this is that all just purely through sounds and tones.
Correct. And I'll go ahead and since we're live and they can see your reaction to this, what makes this so powerful is human ears can generally do about a negative 10 dB of sensitivity that they can pull out audio differences. This software will hear down to negative 24.
Oh, and so the farther down you go, that's more data bandwidth that you're able to
It's more sensitive signals that you're able to pull in. So from the station that, I've got a radio at the headquarters here set up, that's why I was able to hear Canada and communicate to Canada over it, because it operates very low in the noise. So power output being at a premium in a portable radio, digital communications will allow you to go further than voice.
Yeah.
Right.
So is it a case where I guess we're seeing almost kind of a version of that on the surface web? Like, have you noticed that? Have you ever been to Grokpedia?
No.
So if you go to Grokpedia, it allegedly is like supposed to be a Wikipedia, but what it really is if you look at the format of the text, like call up any article you want, and it's unreadable. Are you there?
Is it just Grokpedia? Yeah.
.com.
Let me.
There you go. And then type in ham radio on there, right?
Okay. Ham radio.
So if you're Yeah, there you go. Pick any of those.
Okay.
CQ ham radio. Great. Now keep on scrolling.
Okay.
And notice how utterly impenetrable all of this is to human. Just you keep on scrolling all the way down forever and ever and ever.
Okay.
Like if you're laying out
Oh my God,
an article
yeah.
for this is by robots for robots. You're going to keep on going. It's just going to be this continuous wall of text, and then it's going to be nothing but citations. So this entire layer, technically, just like we can technically hear all the tones on the ham radio of the what was it, FT8, then likewise, technically, these giant blocks of impenetrable text, humans just aren't going to be able to read and process fast enough without robot hand holding.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And
FT8 is mentioned here in negative 24 dB. That's crazy. So, yeah. Somebody is correcting me in the chat about Joe Taylor. I appreciate you doing that. I don't know what his award was in, but I don't know if that's
was FIFA World Cup gave him an award.
No, it's Nobel, I believe.
No,
they got multiple awards, don't they? Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, I was making a riff on. It is hilarious to me that FIFA invented a peace prize. The soccer people.
Well, so here's hopefully something interesting. So I'm gonna go back stateside now. So I'm gonna find another station. So let's go back out here, and we'll pick something. Colorado's usually pretty good. Fort Collins is also pretty good, obviously, because that's where the time code was that we talked about. I did pull up one of the frequencies that I like to use. So anyway, let's bring this guy up, and let's see if we can. There's often a picture. Look at that, very pretty. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the welcome tab. Go to extensions here, and I think yes. Okay, so the frequency you want to use here is 14.230, and we might get lucky enough if we sit this here for a little bit. We will pick up slow scan television images.
And so slow scan television, one of the very early episodes of Montorogue, we covered. That is the protocol by which using, you could listen to the sounds, but basically what you cared about was decoding the pictures underneath. It was like a slow motion, going all the way back, if you remember 1200 baud modems downloading very slowly pictures.
What's interesting about it is the slow scan television functions, I believe, the way that analog televisions do, that it kind of prints it by line, and it goes zit, 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 and then there's a brightness value on the side, and that's what controls the brightness and the hue of the different lines as it prints them. And it literally looks like, when we were kids on, 36.6 modems, and we would download an image and it would go like, almost like a fax machine kind of thing.
Yeah.
The same concept, but people will transmit these images on amateur radio, on SSTV, and you can pick them up. And because it's on HF, it propagates to a very wide group, anybody listening on that frequency. So what I would do is I would have a Raspberry Pi that I would set up, leave it connected to my radio, and I would just let it run in the background when I wasn't doing anything. And then I would come back and I'd look at all these images that I collected from people that were just transmitting this stuff into the ether, if you will, which is pretty cool.
So when people are doing those transmissions, I mean, I assume that there's a gazillion use cases, everything from like they're hoping a specific individual target would know to get them to what, like I don't know, space telescope sending stuff down. What?
No, they're like memes.
What? So they're just doing it for the lulz?
No, they make contacts on it. So it'll be like CQ so-and-so, and it'll be a cartoon picture of them or their station, or a real picture, or whatever, a meme. I use memes usually. And it'll say CQKI6NAZ, and then somebody will reply back to me with, heard you at negative 5 dB, whatever. And then I'll reply back with another image saying, hey, thank you for the contact, 73, which is our way of saying, best wishes, all good here. And I'd log it as a contact. You're just making contacts in a different way.
Well, and so is there a particular time, like when a natural disaster happens, that ham radio enthusiasts are like, my time to shine, or whenever traditional infrastructure goes down?
Kind of, sort of. My understanding, and I've never responded to an emergency, but yes, our basic capabilities allow us to have ad hoc communication, meaning you don't need a grid. we can run off solar panels. You don't need a service like cell phone contracts or internet or anything like that. We can just go point to point. It's kind of like we're demonstrating here, right? But with that said, there are groups of amateur radio operators that are affiliated with, Department of Homeland Security, major organizations of hams that are connected to local sheriff stations, the Red Cross and whatever. And those groups practice actual emergency communications. And they have been called to deploy to certain, events, disasters usually, where they will have them deploy with their supplies, their radios, and they will set up this ad hoc network communication of radios.
That's going to be exciting. How many hams are there?
There are 700,000 hams in the United States.
Wow.
Estimates are total in the world is somewhere between 2.5 million, about.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And how does the ham community deal with bad actors in their own midst?
That is it's a tricky question because it depends on which type of radio. So if it's a guy in a walkie-talkie, right? You can actually direction find them pretty easy, right? We can figure out where they're transmitting from. Some people have knocked on doors, but there is a process for the FCC where you can say, hey, this individual has been doing this continuously. Can you help out? That usually leads to a very lengthy process where the FCC has to do this very elongated investigation processes. But so that's one side of it, right? We can figure out who it is. Sometimes things in the past, people have talked to them. I know that we had a repeater in my local area that was getting jammed, as we would call it, by someone. They figured out who it was. They actually, I think, sent him a couple letters, and he stopped at that point because they figured out, he was like, oh, they actually do know who I am, so they stopped.
Right.
But when you're talking about HF, where you're propagating beyond line of sight, direction finding is actually really difficult in that case.
And so HF at the high frequency band, I guess low frequency band, it hits the ionosphere and just keeps on trucking.
No. Very high frequency and up pierces the atmosphere.
Well, then, how does it go farther than line of sight then?
What do you mean? Sorry.
Sorry, I said line of sight. I was thinking past the horizon. That's different. Line of sight is true line of sight.
Yeah. So, okay. So everything from 1 hertz up to 30 megahertz, those signals can refract off the atmosphere, meaning it comes up, it shoots away from you at all angles, and at an appropriate angle of radiation, hits the ionosphere, a layer. We actually talked about layers of the ionosphere while you're gone. Hits the ionosphere and it refracts, it bends down. So if the Earth is round, which spoiler alert, it is.
Hold on.
Alert,
Provisionally, I'm willing to accept it for the moment.
For argument's sake. So when the Earth is round and your radio tower sends out power, it's just going to keep going. It's going to reach the horizon and just keep going. Well, it reaches the horizon, it gets the atmosphere, and then it bends again, bounces off, and then goes to the other side of the Earth, right? That's how refraction works. So when you go above 30 megahertz, that's where the radiated power will start to punch through the atmosphere. When it punches through the atmosphere, that's when capability of satellite communication, ISS, all that stuff is possible.
So wait, which is the one that can go through?
Everything above 30 megahertz, which that's the beginning of the very high frequency radio space. And then from there, it's ultra high frequency, super high frequency, and on you go.
Man, so many questions.
Do you need your coffee? You want to switch with me? Do you want to take back the controls? Or I'm waiting on SSTV to come in. I'm kind of bummed that nobody's.
Well, here, I'll grab my coffee and I'll still sit over here. Thank you for jumping in, by the way. That was a case where, like, I felt the phone, somebody was calling. I'm like, that's weird on a Saturday morning. But then the same number called a second time. And it's just like, hey, I'm a friend of blankety blank. We're having a bit of a issue. And so it was like, oh, So I appreciate you jumping in on that.
Yeah. No, I now understand a little bit more how vMix works. It's very much like OBS. It's very similar.
Right?
Yeah.
Wait, here, let me grab my
Yeah, indeed. How do you like that Ember cup, by the way?
This was my Christmas gift. I
Yeah?
love it. Although I ran into... Here, let me get on mic.
He's overclocking his Ember cup.
Yeah, I ran into my first downside to Ember, which was I had a little bit of coffee left at the bottom. But of course, if it's keeping it real heated, then this morning it was like super caked and dried at the bottom because it just cooked it all the way to I don't know what tar basically.
Yeah. You had you gooified it.
Yeah.
So now you have condensed coffee. Yeah.
Exactly. Do you do coffee?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm a V60 pour over guy.
Is that a CQ?
Yes, CQ coffee. We transmit coffee through my blood. Basically, is how we transmit the coffee.
That is one thing. So it's like as I get older, my voice gets a little less reliable.
Right.
So I'm always drinking coffee to keep it hydrated.
Yeah.
But as a result, when a cup is all the way full to the brim and you pour more in, then something has to come out. So all day, every day, I'm like a human coffee filter. Like I can make it about an hour of a stream, and then it's like, and I'm gonna go take care of that.
So a V60 is like a pour over. So you take the little kettle and you pour it over the grounds, but it's made by a company called Haro, which is a Japanese company, and it's a little basket. It's like a cone basket, and there's a paper filter that goes in it, but it's like a cone filter, and you do this semi-precise measurement between coffee grounds and water, and you get a pretty productive cup of coffee, or I guess repeatable. Yeah, James Hoffman is a great. Wait, wrong one. There it is.
Oh, see, I told you you'd figure everything out.
I got it pretty quick. James Hoffman is the guy I follow a lot for coffee stuff. He's a great YouTuber in that space. But I have varied it a little bit. I have a burr grinder, right? Burr grinder is probably the most important thing you can do for good coffee. Depending on, get whole beans, keep them whole until you're going to use them, but don't hang on to them very long. Grind up what you need. Do your process, enjoy the coffee kind of deal.
There's are you familiar with air roasted coffee?
I think yes, I think so, but I don't know that I've had it. I don't know that I've had a lot.
Yeah, in fact, I've got some over here. Maybe we'll brew a thing of it and give it a try.
Okay.
But apparently it's a process that was tied up in patents and recently is not. I'm learning all the stories of it, but there's a company that sent me some samples that it sounds pretty interesting.
Oh, I would love to try that. Have you had Kopi Luwak coffee? Have you had the fabled cat poop coffee?
Oh dear, no. But tell the fine folks at home what this is.
So there's an animal called the civet. That is the right name for the animal, but I can't remember exactly what country they're in. I think they're Indonesia or something like that. Years ago, over a decade, I bought a pound of it for my mom and dad and my wife's mom and dad. And we broke it out, coffee for Christmas, always a big thing. Didn't tell anybody what it was. And it didn't say, it didn't have a cat butt on it or some kind of crazy marsupial or anything like that. It just said Kopi Luwak coffee. And so my wife just opened that bag and started just making a big old pot of it for everybody. And we just passed it out. Everybody got a cup. Everybody loved it. It is very good. Very low acidity. So for people that are not into crazy, high acidity type stuff or just more sensitive to it, fantastic. I really, really liked it. Really liked it.
So yeah,
they're literally.
It's literally. Do they feed it with the intention of?
There's all this mystique and mystery about it. Like, oh no, the civet is the most perfect creature, and that it only eats the finest of the coffee cherry, and that is.
That's
bean.
Interesting. So basically, the theory being, if we're thinking like in terms of a network stack, that particular breed of critter would be a selector, basically a hand picker based on a particular set of quality.
Yes, yeah,
yeah.
Because if you think about it, the coffee cherry, it's still got the fruit around it and the beans on the inside, so
Which is the part it's interested in.
It's looking for the flesh of the fruit, and then the byproduct is the seed that comes out, in the rear, and they collect it and they roast it and they do the whole thing. So when you get it, it's just a fully roasted bean. It's completely clean. There's no residual. There can't be. It's roasted at a very high temperature.
Well, and it's like it's no grosser than you buy a sausage link. That's an intestine, is what.
Yeah.
Like that's the poop chute.
Yeah.
Where although it's difficult to know at what point is it poop, like how far down in the intestinal tract.
I'm probably it's got to be in the lower intestine where it gets converted from the flesh has got to be off of it by that point. So it's pretty much in its almost green bean status, right? Because so coffee beans are in their green state before they go into roasting. Yeah, and that's exactly where. Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing on this air roasting that, as I understand it, the traditional roasting, you have the husks still on them, and as a result, by the time you're done roasting, you have a bunch of char at the bottom. That's essentially ash. Mm-hmm. And whereas the air roasting, it's I assume there are things about it that are a bigger pain in the butt, or whatever the process is. But apparently there's no char, no ash, or any of that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, I would love to try that. I found that similar kind of thing with chocolate, believe it or not.
Go on.
So have you ever had the cocoa, the flesh that's around a cocoa nib?
I have not.
When we were on the Big Island of Hawaii in June last year, we went to a cocoa plant or farm, basically, plantation. And they crack one open right there, and it's this translucent jelly-ish flesh that's around the cocoa bean. It's delicious. It's really, really good. And they can juice it to get to that juice, and it's really, really expensive stuff because that's not the goal of the production of chocolate.
Yeah.
But one of the processes of making chocolate is they need to leave the husk around the cocoa nib, and it needs to basically just be left alone to ferment. And if it doesn't go through that, then it can't live through the toasting process. It won't work. So those all get discarded, and so they can't really give you the juice of the chocolate being the primary goal because they still want to make cocoa nibs out of it for the production of chocolate. So we went to this plantation and they'd sell these little juice shots, little plastic juice shot thing. And it would just be this cocoa nectar. And it's really good. It's really good.
So did I hear right that there's some ingredient in chocolate that's getting rare or hard to get a hold of?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I've never. Oh, like in the news lately?
I mean, this would have been a few years ago. I read it where there was a particular ingredient. The thought occurred to me is what if chocolate became endangered? Like, for example, bananas. What we think of as bananas, that particular variant, mutant variety of plantains.
Right.
There's a particular fungus that is making a type of blight. That because they're all clones, because there are no seeds in bananas, that's
right.
Because of that, they are not genetically diverse enough to fight off this blight that is causing a problem. So in theory, bananas could go away, and so there's lots of research being done into figuring out how to create more robust.
This is like Theseus banana.
Yeah.
The banana Theseus, because at some point you're going to no longer have the original, right? So
yeah. Well, and on top of that, I wonder how many things that are quote unquote lost that, we think that, oh, if only you could have it. And then my guess is if you had it, it would not be very good, or it wouldn't be what you like.
Yeah, and I don't know how much of that's, you've seen the images of the original banana, and it's got seeds all up in it and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't know if that's the legit original, but I bet it's not that far off. And yeah, I don't know that I want to spit out.
I don't think I've seen this picture. See if you can find this picture.
Original banana.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Original banana.
OB.
The OG banana.
Yeah. So what is this thing that looks like a
that
BlackBerry?
Is a Meshtastic device.
Oh, This is great.
Yeah, we're gonna
looks
dip into that later.
a lot like a classic blackberry. What?
Original bananas, unlike the seedless varieties we commonly consume, had large hard seeds.
Wow.
I'm looking for more images. Maybe we can just image blast this sucker. Oh yeah, that's definitely what you want in your yogurt.
I guess as you're having that, you probably just wolf down the seeds and
Then you become the civet.
yeah. Although there does seem to be, I forget where in South America, there's a tribe that is extremely long-lived, and basically it boils down to whenever you look at the ingredient list of anything they eat, it is only one. Like
It's fish. It's Okinawa.
Well, no. What I mean is like it's a banana. Ingredients, one banana. It's a onion. Ingredients, one onion. Basically, it's an indictment against all of our ultra-processed foods.
Oh, sure. I mean, and it goes both ways, right? So you always hear about people in Okinawa that live over 100 years, largely fish-based diet. But then you can almost take that to another extreme and you look at the Inuits in the north, right? They subsist off of seal. Like, that's what they got. Like, they eat high fat, high blubber, all that stuff, and they also have very long lives. So maybe it's more the fact that they just have a finely tuned digestive system.
Oh, wait, hold on. Somebody sent money and
okay, how do I? Oh, yeah. Do I
here,
just click
highlight that so we can see what they said? There we go. The ingredient in chocolate is that it's becoming hard to get is the real full cream milk. Too many city folk wanting goat's milk or 2% fat milk. I don't know if that's what I was thinking of, but I agree with the sentiment.
How do I feel? I don't know. Like, what do you mean? Did they actually make chocolate with 2% fat milk? I don't even think that would work.
I don't know. The last sentence is the one that does the heavy lifting. Too many city folk wanting goat's milk or 2% fat milk.
We need that
What's
goat
next?
chocolate.
Almond milk, oat milk.
Where do you even milk an almond?
Although I guess they don't even call it. Do they call it oat milk?
I don't know if they're allowed to.
Well, and that's the thing is you think about allowed to. It's like that's the dairy farmers union, basically protecting their cartel through the force of the hammer of government.
The milk. You
It's
can't
like-
use my term.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's like, look, man, no, you know what? The stuff that comes out of cows, that's cow juice. That's
cow
not
juice.
milk. The only real milk is mother's milk, human milk.
Or I mean, I guess any mammal, right? That is classified as milk, and so an almond is not a mammal. So it would theoretically break the definition.
Well, and I guess on the flip side, though, you're seeing a similar thing about like what is meat? Your Impossible Burgers or whatever, cultured meats versus all that stuff.
Your hypothetical world where you're on the
Yeah,
Star Trek.
if it might be round, I could imagine.
I want a hamburger hot from the replicator, and what is that made of?
Yeah.
The Starship Enterprise.
So I don't know if I told you, but oh shit, I have an 11 o'clock. I totally forgot.
Okay, well, I got the stream, Brian.
Yeah,
if you
all
want
right.
to
Well, here, all right. We'll
keep it warm for you. Go ahead, jump in. Okay.
That's crazy. All right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you, Josh, for
You're
jumping on and doing the thing.
You're welcome. No
Thank you to
problem.
everybody who showed up, and yeah, look forward to these shows. They're going to be real good. Here we go. Boom. Oh, yep.
Oh,
Sure.
I muted your tab. Just click the tab to unmute it.
There we go. Got it. Nailed it. All right. See you guys.